Hi, everybody. Well, last week we talked about mindful listening. We opened up our mindful ears and we took the time to listen to the sounds around us. If you participated in that, absolutely let me know how that felt. I do it so much now. For this week's practice, I wanted to really focus on something that's been just so tried and true with me, and that is mindful eating. I really want the title of this practice is mindless eating versus mindful eating, because when we mindlessly eat, we are just consuming whatever's in front of us as fast as we can. We're not even thinking about it. This is very, very common in our day to day. I think being in education, being a parent, the number of times I've had to eat cold food over the sink because I am too busy getting my kids ready and getting them dinner in their hands, then getting the dishes cleaned, and then focusing on everything else, loading the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. I don't focus on the food in front of me. I don't get to appreciate it as much. I actually wait a lot of the time to eat dinner until my kids are asleep. So I have late dinners because I like to mindfully eat. I like to take my time eating. If I have another person with me, I like to socially eat. So I like to talk and I like to, do those kinds of things. Um, so that's what I do. Mindful eating is a practice that's done at all different meals. You can do it anytime you want. A lot of people do mindful eating if they want to lose weight, because what you do with mindful eating is you're tapping into your different senses. So you're tapping into your sense of touch, your sense of smell, your sense of taste, even your sense of hearing if you need to. And you're also walking through and visualizing the process of how that meal got in front of you, or that particular thing that you're eating got in front of you. So you are actually spending a lot of time like fully invested in what's going on with that particular meal, and you're fully engaged in the present moment. So you tend to eat less, you tend to eat a lot slower, and so it really helps people. I do mindful eating because it helps me appreciate what I have in front of me. I think, especially being an adult and having a career and being able to buy my own groceries, I have this like newfound appreciation for food. When I was a child, food was not a consistent thing. I think the new term is like a food insecurity. School was my safe space. It was a place where the electricity was always going to be on, where the people would be sober, and that there would always be food. So that's a thing to consider with some of our kiddos who are not in school right now, because that might not be something they have available. Food, just having access to a steady amount of food. And if they don't, you contact me, please, because we will figure this out for them. Anyways, with us right now, I was thinking, gosh, mindlessly eating versus mindful eating. I took out half of a pizza today, just didn't even think about it. It just was like, how fast can I consume this? I was thinking, gosh, if I just slowed down for a moment and just focused and appreciated my food, then I wouldn't be consuming so much stuff and so much crap and getting the quarantine 15 that I've been hearing those memes floating around, and they're very, very applicable to me. So I was thinking for mindful eating today, for our practice today, I wanted to find something that we all kind of universally have in our home. For me, it's a tortilla chip. I figured a lot of people probably have chips in their home. I have a very beautiful friend who brought me homemade tortilla chips from Food City, which are become my favorite. And so that is what I've been consuming like crazy. Those and French macarons, those are heaven to me. So those are the things I've really pay attention to, and I really mindfully eat, because I want to eat those slowly and I want to appreciate them, and I want to respect the process that it took to get that meal in front of me, or to get that treat in front of me. So to begin, you will have to find something to consume. I'm going to use the example of the tortilla chip, but you guys can use anything. You could use fruit, you could use vegetables, you could use a meal, whatever that looks like for you. Just be mindful of the meal that you have in front of you, or the treat that you have in front of you next time you are eating something. Or if you want to participate in something right now with me, take a moment, go pick something up out of your kitchen or wherever. I have jelly beans hiding under my couch cushion or I have my computer. Find your little treat, bring it back, and let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to do it through the eyes of a tortilla chip, because that's what I have in front of me. That's what I took out of my pantry, which is my favorite room in the house, by the way. So our tortilla chip. The common practice with this is a raisin. So you can do a raisin with like a group of kiddos or your family members. Raisins tend to not be that popular with the kinder to high school level kids. I've tried it. not a very popular piece. I have done instead chocolate. Like I'll buy like after a holiday, I'll just like wipe out the candy shelves and get the chocolate. I've done cookies. What are they called? Gummy bears, fruit snacks. Those are all very popular with kids. Those are things that are pretty universal. Be very mindful of what you're serving with them. Of course, adhere to any kind of allergies they may be having, or may have any food allergies that they may have. Try nut free, all those things. Like, be considerate of that. Be mindful of it. So I chose the tortilla chip today. So like I said, do whatever practice you want with your group, with your people, or by yourself, whatever you choose. So when we're looking at a tortilla chip, the way to mindfully eat is first we're going to do a visualization exercise. So we're going to focus on how that particular meal came to be, how it got into our hands. So with the tortilla chip, I'm inviting you to get into a mindful body. So our straight backs, our feet planted on the floor, our hands resting in our lap. One's obviously not going to be resting, so we're going to be utilizing this. So first I'll walk you through what the senses piece is, and then the visualization of what it took to get that tortilla chip in front of you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tap into your sense of smell. You're going to smell what it smells like. This smells heavenly, salty, corny, tortilla-y. I don't even know the right way to explain it. It smells amazing. The next, we're going to touch it. I want you to, when we do these kinds of exercises, any kind of exercise that we're doing, we're talking mindfulness, just be aware of the textures. Like obviously mine has got it's rough, it's got some salt on it. It's got some sharp ends because it was all fried up and delicious. So just really focus on that when we're doing our exercise. This is a great sensory thing. This is great for kids to do because it's things they don't usually do. If a kid has a tortilla chip or chip in front of them, it's just getting eaten, no questions asked. They're just flying through it. This helps them stop, calm down, take a moment, be in the present, and focus on this delectable little thing in front of us. It is very hard for kids. I've had a group of kiddos at the high school level where one boy, the moment I handed out the fruit snacks, he just opened that bad boy up and just tipped it into his mouth. And I was like, wait, no, we have a practice to do. So you might have to do it a couple times. You might have to, with the group that you're with, be very forgiving of them, be very patient with them. If you have to do it a couple times, do it a couple times. Have backup snacks with you. That's important. I've tried this with my kids a couple times, and I have a 5 and a 2-year-old. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily work out all the time. Kiddos nowadays, they're used to everything fast food, fast internet, fast everything, boom, 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 boom. They never stop to smell the roses. They never stop to focus and concentrate. So I constantly focus is a word I tend to use in my home a lot. I use it during mealtime. I use it during snack time. I will say, let's just appreciate what we have in front of us because we don't a lot of the times. We don't. I know for me, I'll go in the grocery store and I'll know that X, Y, and Z is in this aisle, that aisle, this aisle. I'm bringing it home. I'm consuming it. I don't think twice about it. It really takes a lot to be mindful because you have to snap off your automatic thought process. This hurry, thinking about the future. Let's move, let's go. And you're just calm down. You slow yourself down. You go into the present moment. You just be. Just be with food. Just be with the sounds like the last time we did it. Just be with all these different kinds of things that we do. Mindfulness is just being present. Be present. We just fly through everything. We fly through our food. If we're parents, we're eating cold meals over the sink because we don't have time. We're waiting till our kids go to bed because we don't, because we can't focus on our food. We can't appreciate it. So that's what this helps with. So that texture, that scent, what does it sound like? If you're rubbing it through your fingers, what does it sound like? Mine's crinkly, almost like paper. The next thing is they're going to put it inside their mouth. I don't need you guys to see me chewing for 30 seconds. Nobody needs to see that. So not going to subject anybody to that. But they would put it inside their mouth for actually a full minute. And they're just going to take the moment to break it down, to taste the textures, to taste how it changes in their mouth, how the flavor changes, how everything changes with it. That's what they do with that minute. So I would stick this chip in my mouth, which would be very crunchy, very like I said, you guys don't need to see it, but chew on it, see how it feels. It is very difficult for a lot of people to like stop and be like, what? I have to chew for a whole minute? Like, who does that? I mean, you get this bad boy down in 10 seconds and you take out a whole bag in a minute, not just one chip in 1 minute. So mindful eating is, again, just being present and being in the moment and really focusing on that food, like every aspect of it, like every piece of it, which I think is really cool. And I love this practice. Kids go crazy for it because they get to eat. So what's better than that? They get free food. Miss Anna provides the free food, the cookies or the chocolate or whatever. But I'm teaching them a practice. I'm teaching them a skill to stop and appreciate and be mindful and tap into their senses in a way they usually don't. The other aspect of mindful eating is the visualization that it takes. So when they're chewing, when they're taking that time to like feel those textures and like all that stuff, you can invite them before you start any of those senses exercises. You can invite them to close their eyes or look to the floor. When they're bringing stuff up to their eyes, like they're focusing on it and looking at it as if they have never seen it before, like it's the first time they've ever seen it, that's obviously a time when they're going to have their eyes opened. And so, they're looking at it like, oh my gosh, there's crevices and there's pockets and it's lighter in this area and it's darker in this area. So that's with sight. And I don't even think I mentioned that. So I mention it now and I apologize. You could do so many things with just a little snacky snack. So when we do the visualization part, the kiddos are imagining the process of the corn being planted and grown and harvested and pulled and, brought to, sold to this place and that place and put into a factory and, broken down and combined with other ingredients and, put together and shaped and cookie cut it or whatever they had to do to make it that happen, and then packaging it and getting it into this big bulk cardboard and shipping it off, and it has to be at Costco and someone went to go buy it. There's so many pieces to the puzzle of just this tortilla chip. Like I said, we just take it for granted. It's always there. They're always there. I think our relationship with food has changed a lot with COVID-19. I feel like we've taken for granted all these things, all these staples that we knew were going to be there. Our toilet paper, our flour, our eggs, our bacon, our whatever that looks like, all these things that were like, it's always just going to be there because it's a grocery store and like nothing ever happens, right? We've changed a lot in our thought processes because our food supply isn't there like it should be, and we're rationing things and we're bartering and we're really like taking a whole different step. We're baking our own food now, we're cooking our own things. So just be wary of all that kind of stuff. So when we walk this through, it could be a full-blown like 10-minute activity, because once you get through the sights and the sounds and the smells and the textures and the taste, the touch and the taste, you walk through all of the senses, and then you walk them through hey, this was grown from corn, and then that corn had to be harvested, and then it had to go to this factory, and it had to be beat down and ground down, and then it had to be combined with this ingredient and that ingredient and this ingredient, and then shaped and then packaged and salted and all this stuff. Okay, so that's what we do with mindful eating. Whatever you eat, you can do this exercise. You could do steak, I guess. Visualizing that would be probably a little bit traumatizing, so I would probably say maybe like vegetables or some kind of snack, but it's whatever you're comfortable with. So in a nutshell, that's mindful eating. Now, before we close out today, I wanted you guys to think about the 3 things you're thankful for this week. I chose some random ones, French macarons, because those have been my jam as far as a treat goes. And I actually put my 2 children as my things that I'm grateful for, because it's been a lot of fun to see them just kind of be and grow and like watch them on their day-to-day. They give me gray hairs and a little fluff around the middle. We talked about this. But I'm super thankful for them. I'm super thankful for the time I get with them, because we're always so busy all the time. So it's great to slow down a little bit. So before we go together, I want to show you guys a candle breath. This is one of the exercises from the Breathe Like a Bear book, which you can purchase on Amazon. This is what I utilize in my mindfulness groups with all of my kids. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have your kiddos hold up like they're pretending they're holding a candle. And the candle's lit. And they're going to do a soft inhale and exhale. And they're going to watch that flame just flicker. Do it again. Inhale. Exhale. Now for this next one, they're going to do a big, big, big inhale and a big exhale. Kids love it. Kindergartners especially love it because then they're blowing spit everywhere, but they think it's the funnest thing in the world. So that is our practice for today. Thank you so much for being here with me, for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, for listening to this voice, and you're welcome for not having to see me chew today. And like always, be mindful, be present, just be awesome. I'll see you next week.